answer that question. Let me see. Am I even on right now? Yo, what's going on, guys? God damn, man. If y'all know how hard, if only you guys knew how hard it is to go live on YouTube. You gotta go through a million fucking things to go to YouTube. It used to be so much easier just to press a button. Now they got this Child Protection Act thing. You gotta certify every time. You gotta click and you gotta get a thing from Google. It gets sent to your phone. And then the phone, the number wasn't even a number I had anymore. I had to go pay the phone company to get the number activated again, to get the damn key. Shit. Anyway, I'm here, man. I'm here. It's your boy Sal in the building. Shout out to everybody in the room right now, man. Let's just talk about the stocks that are popping right now for you. And Bill Betts, Redneck Trader. What's going on, guys? Shout out to Bill Betts, Ghetto Stock Trader was in here. The Blood of Ogun. God damn, brother, you so serious. Blood of Ogun. A Ranger 51. Shout out to the people joining me and watching in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to talk about, the stocks that are exciting right now to you. This is just a show that we kick it and see what's hot out there. You guys know how I'm trading now. I want to kind of know what you guys are trading. And I don't want this to be only about the tickers I'm interested in. I'm always interested in seeing what other people are looking at right now. The market is at all-time highs now, and 151 days. What's going on, Jeff? Me, Marine. Leon's in the building. Ken, what's going on, man? 151 days of record-setting highs. I've been putting out videos telling you they're buying the dips for you. This is the easiest money you will ever make when we talk about these large cap stocks. All right. Now, small caps, that's a whole different ball game. I saw Ken just come in and bring up FCell, which he's made a killing on. I think he DM'd me about it on Twitter. And if you want his Twitter account, let me see if I can give that out to you real quick. And you can follow him. And his Twitter is at KENR0966. That's at KENR0966 if you want those small cap runners. He's really good at putting those out. And FCell's been a beast, boy. I'm looking at the chart right there, and I'm just looking at it just from December 1st. I'm thinking, what is that, about almost 300% on FCell? Give or take a couple, percents off. Well, right now, you should be enjoying the run. You should have been enjoying the run since September. As I've been mentioning here on the show, look, this is free money. We are watching the greediest generation in the world, which are the baby boomers, born 1942 to 1964? I think it's like that. I think it's somewhere like that. 40, it could be 41 to 64 or 42 to 64. They're the greediest generation ever. And what we are watching is them literally taking money that's meant for our grandkids and giving it to themselves. That's basically what they're doing. There's a proper word for it, but it's not on the top of my tongue right now. All right, so they're taking money that we need for infrastructure, for schools, for healthcare, and they're like, oh, we're going to keep this rally going because we're retiring soon, and we're going to pull this money out, but it's hanging on by a thread, and they know it's hanging on by a thread because when you literally look at the rally and the Federal Reserve balance sheet, and you can Google that chart, it literally looks the same. It literally looks like the same thing. So the Fed's buying the bonds and instead keeping those prices high. And that frees up banks for giving investors capital to put in the market. All right. So what you need to be doing is you need to be in QQQ, you need to be in SPY, you should be in Apple, you should be in, the best of the best. All right? You should be in the best of the best right now because that's where all the free money is going. That's why every dip is a buying opportunity. And that's why every time we go down, if you watch CNBC or Bloomberg, they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified. I mean, they are, when we go down like 0.5%, it's like, is the rally over? I mean, what's going on, guys? I mean, is it time to take profits? I mean, they're scared. They are terrified. Now, they have said that in April they're going to stop, right? The Federal Reserve is going to stop in April. I don't believe it. I don't believe they can stop. In fact, we had UBS come out late last week, and they mentioned that there are going to be 3 more rate cuts. They project 3 more rate cuts this year. They can't stop it, folks. They cannot. They know they can't stop it. They can't stop this cheap money, man. They know that's what's that's all what this is. I mean, you can go back, to where we were September, October, right? We were selling off. Things were getting kind of scary, and they know they had to step in. They knew that they had to step in. So here we are at all-time highs. That's why I'm comfortable now. I started, for the guys who bought into MTA, Millionaire Trading Academy, we're going to be I started a new section at the bottom where I talk about spreads on stocks. I was really hesitant to do the spreads on stocks because, at first it was all about the iron condor, but that's a very dangerous trade right now. So what I'm telling guys to do in the course is a bull put strategy where we're selling weekly or monthly puts on these, on futures, all right, on the future indexes, which is ES and NQ. You can do it on RTY, which on the ETF side or the stock side translates to QQQ or SPY or IWM. All right, selling weekly puts on those because they've been money makers. Incredible money-making opportunities. All right. Anybody who's been in Apple, these last couple weeks can tell you how incredible, selling puts has been in Apple. Look at this. This is the weekly on Apple. I mean, literally 9 weeks straight. What is that? 9-10 weeks straight. It's been a winning strategy for 10 weeks or more. I mean, you go back to August, I mean, you barely lost. You had, I think, one losing week. You had one losing week, maybe 2, give or take, if you actually held on. Selling weekly puts. Rates are going to zero. The Fed won't ever stop printing money. Probably, who knows? Maybe MMT is the real deal. I had John Bogan on the show. Maybe MMT is the real deal. All right. If you play the game Monopoly, one of the rules is that the bank never runs out of money. All right. Because people think the bank runs out of money when you play Monopoly. It never runs out of money. In fact, what you do, and there's a card on this, when the bank runs out of money, you tear off pieces of paper and you create the money. You write the 50, the 200, so the bank never runs out of money. That's what's so great about that game, and it's the greatest board game ever made. It literally is America's economy in a board game. If you want to learn about economics in America, play Monopoly. All right? The board game or the PC version. I love the PC game. I could play the PC game all day. There's some really good versions of that. So let me get off my high horse here. let me guys know again what you guys are trading right now. I made a few calls this past week when I talked about Tesla being, overbought here. It was a great trade. I hope somebody took advantage of it. And it just made sense. I mean, it just made sense on the daily chart. When you get to those, high RSI levels, particularly where we were in Tesla at the beginning of last week, you can go into a call selling strategy where, again, you just, you sell a call, buy a call, and, you can take that profit in as the stock has a very hard time of maintaining very high RSI levels. And that's any stock, right? Everybody wants to get the most for their money, and RSI is an indicator where everybody sees it, right? It's one of the standards available on practically every platform, and every guy knows that he's paying a premium when he's buying into a stock at 92, 93 RSI. So a smart trader, or even the average trader, will say, you know what, I don't want to pay that high. I'm just going to wait until that comes down a little bit. So as option sellers, that's where we really want to be on top of that, because at the 25 delta, right? At the 25 delta at 75 RSI or higher, it's almost 99% probability of making that a winning trade. Almost 99. If you're at a 25 delta, that's an 80%. 75% probability, right? It's almost a sure thing that it's not going to reach that level, right? Price action won't reach that level during that particular week. Not on a monthly, right? And a monthly is different, because the thing about RSI is that it can tell you that something is oversold, but it won't tell you how aggressively it'll sell or cool off. All right. So let's go into some tickers here. People are putting some tickers in the chat. LDOS. All right. Again, here's a nice little runner. Trading at 22 times earnings. Tech stock. Not a fan of the volume, but man, it's very, it's been a nice runner for you. I've never heard of this stock at all. I've never heard of this stock, but looking at the monthly again, very promising whatever they're doing here. But again, never heard of the stock. Bill Betts down 99. Yeah, I mean, we're hot. We're hot right now. But here's the thing, Bill, is that we will have situations where we'll be pre-market, in the red, and then all of a sudden that bell rings and here comes the buying. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the buying. There's too much money out there, man. I think people really underestimate how much money there is out there, and how much people worldwide want to buy stocks in the United States of America. It's not just you. I mean, these are people all over the world. I keep telling you, look, there are dollar millionaires in Pakistan. There are dollar millionaires in India, and these people have to put their money somewhere. They don't trust their own countries for the most part. And a lot of these people will buy Apple stock. They will buy our index funds. They'll buy, these ETFs, right? That, do their part with go into the market and buy their components. Here's Tilray. Boy, Tilray used to be, the talk of Twitter. Tilray, I remember just TLRI, just everywhere. And now look where it is. Nice move recently, but still, just to see where it's came from, it's almost sad to see. It's very sad to see. SWM, another ticker from the chat room, down 1%. All right, so you got some people picking it up off the floor here. Again, I tell you guys how bullish support is between 40 and 80 RSI. So when it loses that support, as you can see here, all right, I keep this as a setting on my screen on TradingView. When it loses that support, that could indicate an end to the trend, right? That could indicate an end to the trend. So now what you want to see is, yeah, you can pick it up off the floor here, but if we see a rejection at the 60 RSI, that's not good. That's not good for this particular stock. So interesting move here. What's going on, Kenny Dutton? Money Bags, what's up, man? SIWH? I'm not seeing a ticker for that. What's going on, Woody Wright? Seeing people coming into the room. All right, MRVL. Marvel Tech Group. Okay. All right, here's another one that's trying to break out here, but it's been having a hard time. You did set a new high last week, but there's something causing the hesitation. I mean, what's causing the hesitation here is it hasn't been able to really build a leg to stand on. Well, the volume is really good too. 11 million. Is that the average? Okay, 9 million shares traded. Okay, I've never heard of this company, Marvel Tech, and that's very good daily volume for a $28 stock. All right, but yeah, I mean, this is a stock that's struggling to make new highs here. I mean, as you can see here, for the most part, you've kind of been in a 23 to 29 range. You set a new high last week, so maybe this is the beginning of something here. So let's see if he can maintain it. But again, one of the great things about setting a new all-time high is it has to be followed up with a new RSI high, right? A new RSI high, and I'm not seeing that yet. So that is what makes this run very dangerous. All right, that is what makes this run very dangerous. All right, as you can see, if we go back to AMD, again, what justifies a run is a new RSI high. If it was a breakout, if you go back to 2017, you see that breakout above that 60 RSI, that was the new RSI high, right? That was a multi-year RSI high going back to 2016. And sure enough, that was the buy signal. And that's why, based on this weekly chart, as you can see, it's taken off. All right, taken off. Do I use MACD? No, Jeff, I don't use MACD, Jeff. I put it in the course to teach people it because it's a popular indicator, but man, I just haven't seen the follow through on MACD, man. And trust me, I look for the divergences. I really do. But with the kind of environment we got going on right now, there's very little follow through. And MACD, I don't know if MACD works in this environment. I think when it comes to the small caps, they do. Right? When it comes to the small caps, I think MACD works. But I think on the stocks that I'm trading now, it's not working. PayPal. Yeah, PayPal, I think, is going to be a winner over this next 10 years, man. One stock that I think isn't going to make it into the new decade is going to be Facebook. I think there's so much money to be made on the downside on Facebook and over the next decade. You guys got to remember, if you look at the leading companies going into every decade is different. The only one that's literally been able to survive the last 3 decades is Microsoft. Every other company in the top 25 has been different. If you look at the top 25 stocks every decade. So when I look at the top stocks from 2010 to 2020, and I don't have time to pull up the JPEG now, but it's out there. You talking about most of your FANG stocks, and I say, okay, which one of these FANG stocks that just probably aren't going to make it on the other side? And I think that's Facebook. Unless, I mean, they got something going on with 5G I don't know about. But if I just looking at the technology and what I think 5G is going to do to Facebook, but the data that they've got is incredibly expensive. Incredibly valuable. So it's going to be interesting to see how they survive. But again, Facebook is going to be one of those companies when most of us in here are in our 60s and 70s. You're going to be like, hey, you know that picture you took in 2007? Well, we have it. And I'm sure you'd love to see your grandkids see how you looked in 2007. And we'll be happy to sell you this picture that you took in 2007 for $149.99. So there's a lot of money to be made on some of that data. So they've got a way to survive. I don't know. As a platform, do I see them as a platform surviving another decade? I don't know. Because I'm already seeing they don't really connect with young folks like that. Like when I'm looking at a couple of my cousins who are in, middle school, they don't fuck with Facebook. They literally will tell you Facebook is for old people. Target. Huge miss on earnings the other day, by the way, on Target, man. Target was a huge miss on earnings. This is another stock that I think really got away from people. And a lot, Target. They had a really good last quarter, though. Last quarter gave people a lot of confidence. And going into this quarter, it was just a disaster. It was just a disaster. They blame it on the Christmas numbers. It is what it is, but it just it was a very unfortunate miss. And because Target missed, Walmart's paying the price for that right now too. All right, let's look at Walmart. There we go, Walmart. And that Walmart trade, man, it's been a killer trade. It's a bit directional now. So I wouldn't do an iron condor on that, but I put on an iron condor on Walmart almost 8 weeks ago, almost 2 months ago now. I put a video out on that an iron condor on Walmart would be the perfect thing to do right now, and it was for a very, very long time until today. But obviously now it's a bit directional. I wouldn't do that on here. In fact, if anything, I'll probably be selling calls on Walmart. If you go out, I don't know what the next earnings report is, so I try to stay out of the way of that. But, you can go out now and sell 118, 117. You can go, I don't know, again, you're going to have to figure out where the earnings report is next from Walmart. It should be in the next couple of days or so. But so look out for that. And when that number comes out, good or bad, you're going to want to be either on top or below the price action. And there's going to be a lot of money to be made either way on Walmart. Netflix tomorrow, too. Netflix is going to be huge. All right? And I believe Netflix is tomorrow. And, Netflix is another one, man. There's going to be over $100 over the next 30 days. Netflix is going to move over $100, man. I'm going to say it right now. If Netflix blows it out the water, look, all-time highs on Netflix. If they blow it out the water, this thing is going 440 plus. If they blow it out, man, because that's what everybody's waiting for. The last earnings report gave a lot of doubt. They were showing that, they were losing a bit of follow through on the U.S. side, right? The international growth was still insane. But a lot of people were saying, look, there's a lot of competition, Disney Plus, boo, boo, boo. Now you got this Peacock thing going on with NBC. So if they come out tomorrow and they show that Disney Plus hasn't really had an effect on them, man, this thing could fly, man. This thing could really, really fly if they put up a good number. It really could. Because I put out a video 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned accidentally, I was looking at the stock and I said 250. I actually meant 350. You can go ahead and sell the 350s, the 360s, 365, right? And sure enough, When you look at that video, if you have, one of those abilities, if you go on any of these stocks, you go back and you can see that, those calls were 11, 12, 14 bucks on Netflix at the time. And now they're literally going for pennies. All right. So all that capital got put into your trading account by selling those options. So what will happen, though, is if it blows it out the water, obviously they won't go to 360 and one. Well, it could. It could. I mean, but that'd be something to see. That'd be something to see because they're literally going for like 44 or 45 cents. The 350 or 360 calls on Netflix are like going for less than $1 right now. So if they blow it out the water, man, I would not be surprised to see those at $6-7 easy by end of day. What else you guys looking at? Kenny Dutton, you saying you're paying the $49.50? Yeah. Shout out to Bad Scientist. He's mostly on Twitter now, and he was looking for a trade into AMD, and we were talking about selling the 50, and they just got over it again on another analyst upgrade. I mean, because that's kind of what they do to keep it going, and they did that last week to Apple, where when they start to see some weakness in the stock, then all of a sudden all of these analysts just start coming out there. I mean, sometimes it's the same analyst from the, not the same analyst, but it's a different analyst from the same investment bank. I mean, these people will do anything to keep the run going, and that's what's been going on in AMD right now. And AMD's been a beast, but right now 73 RSI. 73 RSI right now, and let me take a look at the hourly. All right, still looking pretty strong, at least on the hourly. I see somebody said you're selling 49.50 puts JRH. Okay, it's a bit dangerous here. But I see what you're trying to do. Let me look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit dangerous here, but I see what you're trying to do. Whenever I look to sell calls, I like to be at those higher RSI levels because, again, the probabilities are very strong that there's not going to be significant buying activity on those higher strikes. All right, and as you can see here, at that higher RSI level, you can see here the momentum kind of slows in. But again, that's what RSI, look at that. They came right back in at the 60 RSI. That's just a beautiful move there, man. That is what holds the trend. Every time frame, that is what holds the trend, is the 60 RSI level, man. What's going on, Stock Boy? Everything is going great, man. I appreciate you. A Ranger says Disney Plus is really good. Man, Disney, I mean, look, they got a good library, man. I forgot what's that Star Wars show? That Star Wars show, the Magdalorian or something like that. Oh man, I'm feeling that show. I'm not even like a Star Wars dude like that. But that show that's a badass show, man. That's a badass show. But they're waiting to get there. I mean, they got, of course, some more investments they got to make because it's still relatively light. It's still relatively light in terms of the amount of stuff they got on there. But they got a deep library. They got to slap it on there. Somebody brought up Verb. Boy, Verb shitted on a lot of people, though, man. You go back to last year. I almost thought I had to delete some of those videos I made for that company, man. Somebody paid me to talk about the stock, and and go figure, I talked about them when they were still in OTC and making the transition over to the big boards, which I thought that was a really stupid move because they could have, it's not that I didn't know because there was talk about it at the time, but I didn't know it was going to happen so soon. So I felt like I got away with one there because they paid me a couple grand to talk about it, and I talked about it, and They went to the big board. It ran hard. I mean, it ran really hard. What was that? It ran from like 4 to 19, right? So a lot of guys did make some money, but then it just fell apart. It just fell all apart. You know, at the end of the day, price action, you know, has to follow through with the fundamentals, and the fundamentals, unfortunately, weren't there for the price action. Kenny said you bought AMD at $13. Man, AMD period was a stock we talked about for a long, long time, man. We watched it here go, you know, from nothing, from $6 to $7, and now it's a whole different company now. SNDL, marijuana stock. We saw a lot of marijuana stocks last week start moving in the right direction. You know, but I'm just not confident under this presidency that we're all, you know, this isn't the presidency to really kind of have that kind of push. If Bernie Sanders gets the nomination, boy, look, and he wins, MJ is back on the table. If Bernie, that's one thing. I don't care if you're a diehard Republican. If you love MJ stocks, you better be on the Bernie train, okay? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. If Bernie Sanders becomes president of the United States, every MJ stock has to be on the you got to look at it. You got to look at it. Because I would tell you right now, that's going to get legalized nationwide. That's going to get legalized nationwide. I mean, I don't think there's a higher probability. There's any person that will offer a higher probability of getting a nationalized marijuana bill passed, agreed to. I don't even think it has to go to the Senate. Right? I don't even think even the House has to. I think it's just a stroke of a pen. And if I'm right on that, then Bernie's got to be your guy, man. Bernie's got to be your guy. You know. Said hemp is going to be your meal ticket. Yeah, I haven't taken a look at that stock. I hope. Are you talking about hemp, the company hemp? Is that? God damn, it's still down there. Yes, ma'am. Old Dirty Bernie. He said Bernie will not win. I don't know, man. A lot of people suffering out there. A lot of people suffering out there, man. That's what they said about Trump. Trump will not win. And he floored their ass, man. Win is a really good dividend. Yeah, Win has been a really interesting play, man. Because I remember when he had basically got pushed out of his company because he was giving back shots in his office. I mean, that's but I mean that's one thing about being a man in power. You get to do what you want to do. You run in your own company. You run your own damn casino. You know what I'm saying? Then yeah, you get to smash interns in your office, man. When you're a billionaire casino magnate. And that's basically what he was doing. So they pushed him out the company. And lo and behold, now almost a year later, he's wealthier than when he left out, based on the stock. And as you can see here, Wynn's been doing much, much better. You know, Wynn's doing much, much better. I think if you go back to the controversy, when was the controversy at? I think it was somewhere around here, wasn't it? It was like somewhere around here. I don't think it was at this level. I don't think so. But you're going to have to, somebody correct me on that if they're interested. But yes, Steve Wynn was a player. Short of Trump dropping the N-bomb, he's going to win again, no doubt. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see, man. We'll see. My thing is like, I think healthcare is a real vulnerability for him that I think a lot of people are underestimating. The economy has been great. I mean, the economy has been great. Again, they're pumping out the money, man. There's a lot of cheap money going on out there. Uh, the jobs, though, I think people would tell you that the jobs could be paying better. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But at the same time, it's a skill. It's a lack of skills, right? Our education systems in America have not been able to thoroughly follow through because they're just so old and stagnant. Follow through with the training necessary for the jobs of the future. So when people talk about the 7 million openings in America, well, it's because a lot of people don't have the skills necessary for those jobs. You know what I mean? Don't have the skills necessary for those jobs. So, do we see people come out and take that against them? I don't know. But a lot of folks got aging parents. Their parents are spending a lot of money on drug cost. And he's talked about it, but there hasn't been really any action on it. There hasn't been any action on it whatsoever, right? On drug cost here in America. So that's a problem, man. That's a problem. Now he's getting rid of the post office. You can see he's getting rid of the post office predominantly in the towns that are going to be voting for him the most, which is really weird. Closing down some of these post office locations. That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, people like their local post office. So, we'll see, man. Absolutely, Kenny. That's at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who's in office. Price action is price action. All right, but certain people can keep things running than others. Trump is going to be able to keep this balloon running. He's going to be able to keep the balloon running, whereas Bernie Sanders is not going to support what the Federal Reserve is doing right now. That is not going to happen under a Democratic administration. All right, particularly the guys who are running now. Obama, he was basically a black white Republican. I don't know what he was. He definitely wasn't a brother. But so he, anyway, I don't even want to get into that. Trump will have a bigger turnout than before because again are not strong. Nobody wants. See, I don't know, man. I don't want to get caught up into that because that's really. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever happens, man. Whatever happens. The American people have their vote. They're going to go into the precincts and do their thing. RMSL. But at the end of the day, people look around. They say, hey, can I take care of my parents? Can I pay my bills? Can I, go on vacation? Do I love my job? Do I think I can get another job? People really vote their situations. People vote their situations. And if they like their situation, whoever's in power is going to stay in power. If they don't like their situation, if they think their situation isn't working for them, then the guy's out. So the question is, do the majority of Americans like their personal situation? And they got to answer that. Everybody's got to go into the booth and answer that. ZYME, Zymeworks. Who brought Zymeworks up? Oh, Jeff. All right. Cancer treatments, Canadian, running well. Yeah. I mean, got a nice little chart. Not an exciting stock by any means. Not an exciting stock, but definitely a stock that had an incredible 2019. Had an incredible 2019. Got a little bit of divergence going on here. Right? You got a little bit of, again, that's why I'm saying it's slowing down a little bit, which is getting a little scary, right? Because we got RSI going the wrong way. and price action's going the other way. So it's a bit scary up here, all right, when you start looking at that. But we're at where we need to be. I mean, this is what you needed to see on, what was that, Friday. This is exactly what you needed to see. So let's see if we can hold on to that, because there was clearly some kind of news that must have came out or something like that on Friday, because that's what investors were waiting for. As you can see, there was a lot of hesitation building up into whatever got announced on Friday. All right. Nobody brought up Boeing. I think somebody did bring up Boeing, or maybe I may have missed it. But Boeing came out and asked the banks to give them $10 billion. You know, this is hilarious because this is a company that for the last 9 months has spent over $25 billion in stock buybacks. This is a joke. This is a complete joke. This is a company that came out asking you. I mean, you can Google it. You could just Google Boeing, and they're asking for $10 billion. And they did $25 billion in buybacks over the last 6 months. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. You know, and that's what makes stock buybacks so dangerous, is because now when you need the money, all right, now when you need the money, instead of doing the right thing, which is selling some of those stocks, they don't want to do that because they know what's going to happen to the stock price. So now it's like, okay, let me just go ahead and get some debt. Let me just go get some debt. You know. And they're really trying to save this plane, man. They are really trying to save. I mean, it is so sad. Instead of just saying, you know what, we're going to scrap the plane. It didn't work out. We're sorry, America. They're really trying to save this plane. You got whole apps that have been developed to see whether or not you're going to be on this 7 Max. You know what I mean? If your flight is the 7 Max. They were just waiting. You know, just waiting. Somebody came in and put in INPEX. Not sure what's going on with that. MLSS. Yeah, nice chart. Holding those 50 RSIs well. All right. The trend is very, very strong here. Love to see more volume, but the trend looks pretty good, McKinney. Yum Brands. Take a look at Yum Brands. All right, filling in that gap. I'm kind of been surprised what's going on with consumer staples. They've, you know, I guess it is kind of a safety trade, but I mean, Yum Brands, you know, again, they had a great 2018, 2017. I'm kind of confused at what happened here in going into the close of last year. Let's look at the monthly. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go do some research on it, but Yum had been doing very well. All right, and here it is. I mean, again, holding on to that 60 RSI again. All right, so the trend is still very, very strong here on this higher time frame. You know, again, that's trends are broken at lower time frames, and then as time passes, the traders that are at higher time frames either agree with the broken trend and follow through, or they look at that as a buying opportunity and will buy that dip. So clearly, as I just pulled up the monthly chart, you're seeing traders who have a 1 year, 5, 10-year outlook on Yum Brands, and they're looking at that and they're saying, I want a piece of that. Let's take a look. CTL. Yeah, CTL CenturyLink. I'm surprised they're still in business. God damn. CenturyLink. I remember seeing them in the news in the late 2000s a lot more than I see them now. And again, looking at the monthly chart, I'm not impressed. I'm just not impressed. Again, higher highs start with, one. You need a follow through on the RSI, and again, you don't have a new RSI high here on these higher time frames, right? Again, as I just said, when you look at the lower time frames, you start a new trend, and it has to be agreed upon on the higher time frames. And what you'll see is that the short time frames, right, the daily, the weekly chart will start a run, and then as you can see here on the monthly chart, it's not following through. All right, it's not following through. So this thing is running and stopping, and you can see it in the chart: running, stopping, running, stopping, running, stopping, running, stopping, and we're just seeing here again an inability to create a new RSI high. All right, so when I look at CTL, I mean, if you're willing to hold and see if this finally breaks through, then yeah, this could be a very exciting stock to trade. But you've got to set a new RSI high. And this will be a multi-year RSI high if you just get over 52. You get over 52 RSI on a monthly chart. And you're going to have some people who come off the sidelines and keep you going, right? Because that'd be big news for a stock like this. %95 of China stock down. What's going on, Corey Kwan? J&J. Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, I mean, this is a stock you go long in, man. You're going long in. I was seeing somebody on CNBC talking about they were kind of curious on the PE ratio here, that it's kind of expensive. I don't think so. I mean, they're cash rich. It's a cash rich stock. J&J is a great American company, man. I definitely continue to do what you're doing in the stock if you're in, and go long on that. That's a company to be in for a very long time. They still pay a dividend. I heard they pay a very nice one too. I'm not a dividend guy, but that's a stock that's been a favorite of a lot of traders for a very, very long time. Solid stock. It was Paychex, Payx. Okay. Yeah, Paychex, and I know ADP. They're their big competitors. Wow, both are doing very well. Paychex and ADP. Look at that. Doing very well. All right. I mean, again, these are companies. I thought they did worse during the recession. Look at that. This is the recession years. Okay, yeah, all right. So they did do. Okay, so yeah, almost 50% there. All right. Yeah, so I mean, these are two companies. I mean, the last 10 years. I mean, you look at this. Look at ADP going back to the end of the recession to where they are now, 27 to 178. I mean, that's been an incredible decade for ADP. Incredible decade. Let me go back to Paychex. Just the same way. Incredible decade. Paychex with the bigger return, but still, those are two stocks that I'd definitely jump on the other way once things fall apart. But for now, they're both looking very, very, very good. Very good. This is a stock that I can't believe people are still giving the time of day. Plug Power. I mean, come on. How many promises is this company going to continue to make to people? I mean, it's just, first it was something with Apple, and then they tried to do something with Tesla, and then, I mean, come on, man. At a certain point, you just got to be like, you know what? This company is full of shit. This company's full of shit. Shake Shack. Never been my trade. I just feel like why buy Shake Shack when you can go buy McDonald's, man? Go out there and get yourself some Mickey D's. That's what I don't understand. Why buy Shake Shack? You could just go get yourself some McDonald's. You know? Earnings this week on Tesla, the 700. Tesla is a beast. I don't know about $700, but Tesla is a beast. Look up there. There's a video where this woman is talking about Tesla at 6,000. I mean, look, she's talking about, she said she gave it a 25-year time horizon or some bullshit. But, these people just want to say anything to get into the news and get interviews. But she's got Tesla at she's got Tesla at 6,000. $6,000 a share as a stock. Look, Tesla is another company that's going to win as long as all this cheap money is out there, man. You got to understand the type of people who are buying Teslas. Most of them are self-made people or people who work for companies that have done very well because the economy has, quote-unquote, been doing very well, even though we have the lowest GDP on record in a decade. All right? So, as long as there's a lot of money printing, Tesla's going to do very well. Tesla's going to do very well. All right? That's why they continue to put on, very aggressive sales numbers, and they're meeting them. There's a lot of money being put out there to let you buy a Tesla. Money is cheap. And it doesn't hurt that they make a great product. And it doesn't hurt that they make a great product. I've only been in a Tesla 2 times, and every time that I've been in, there's a very enjoyable experience. I mean, you definitely feel like you're in a car that is 25 years ahead of anything else on the road. It's quiet. I've never been in a car that quiet, and it performs incredible. I mean, it's a beast. It's a beast off the line, and it's definitely worth every dollar. Definitely worth every dollar, man. I've heard nightmare stories about getting it fixed, but when it comes to, if it's running right, it's definitely something to be in. These money bags, you're hilarious, man. AMD. Matter of fact, AMD is an interesting one too. When are earnings for AMD? Let me check what Stock Whisperer can tell me when AMD earnings. God damn it! What's that stock? God, what's the name of that website? I thought it was Stock Whispers or Stock Whispers, something like that. Earnings Whispers. There we go. Earnings Whispers. Earnings Whispers. Okay, it's Earnings Whispers. The Stock Whisperer or whatever is that lady who's selling that crap book about Deadpools or something like that. And that's full of shit. I read that book. I was like, man, it's full of shit. Because the whole book is about buying something else. Get my free book. All you got to do is pay for shipping and handling. You buy the book and she's telling you to buy something else. LMT. Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin has been a winner since Boeing's been fucking up. Because what's going on is that you've had situations, Adam, where they've been canceling orders with Boeing and then going with the Lockheed Martin product. There's an OTC traded airline company too, out of Canada. If I got any Canadians in here, somebody can get me that ticker. But there's an OTC traded airline manufacturing company. It's not on my brain right now, but it trades on the OTC. Somebody in here knows what it is. It depends. SEC trader, because I'll use. It depends on how big, because right now, if you remember, I started for the course. I started this like small trading account for the course. So it depends on how big I want to go. Because my majority of my money is in interactive brokers. So if I'm going in a large trade, right, that's 10, 15K, 20K, then I'm in interactive brokers. But if it's a very small, like I'm just kind of trying it out, then likely I'm posting it from Tastyworks. But Tastyworks is good. Tastyworks is an excellent broker, right, for spreads and futures. It's just that because I pay myself, right, I need that debit card access. I need that credit card access to my funds. I mean, that's how I live. So that's why I need to keep my money in interactive brokers, the majority of my money in interactive brokers, because that's how I pay my bills. It says, stir the truck driver's girl. Nah, I mean, that's, man, look, that I had to leave it on the table for that podcast. But now I'm gonna stop messing around with Dusties, man, because at this time now, it's time to find a good girl, somebody I can bring to my parents. Not somebody who's just gonna slough on my knob, because they don't have a place to live, or they're living with their parents and they're just like, I need to find somebody who unfortunately has something going for herself, and she can argue with me and do what she's doing with you guys. You know what I mean? When it's time to get married, you gotta have to actually go after a girl who's got something going for herself. But if you're just trying to get your knob slopped on, you can just go for anybody. LMT has more defense contracts than Boeing, stable and holding an IRA. Okay, T-Moon. Lockheed Martin has the most defense contracts. Okay. Yeah, man, they got that guaranteed government money. There's nothing wrong with that, man. That guaranteed government money is good. Just when I thought size didn't matter. No, SEC trader. No, look. I don't want you to think size doesn't matter, because remember, in the course, I'm teaching people it's about being consistent, right? You can still become a millionaire in the United States of America earning 4% a month, right? Now, at 4% a month, at as little as $2,500, right? That's really the least. If you don't have less than that, man, just stack up your money. But at 4% a month, it's going to take you at least 30 years to become a millionaire at 4% a month. Now, there are multiple strategies you can implement to generate significantly more than that, right? There are guys who do 10% a month, 20% a month. 20% is a bit aggressive. 10% is fine. And you can cut that in literally in half. 15 years. Of course, it helps you if you're reinvesting, maybe putting in another $1,000 a month from, maybe a side job or, something like that. It's going to help you even better. But you can take, again, 90% probability trades, 80% probability trades, making 4% a month, right? That's a relatively, we're talking 20 delta trades, all right? Whether it be monthly. Preferably, I'd like it if you do 60 days out, because you get to take in a bit more credit and go a bit further out. And you can get your 4% a month like clockwork, and it builds over time. Appreciate you, Jason Gatewood. All right. So, no, don't get caught up into size, man. It's about time. It's about time. A lot of guys they end up every year having to start their trading account over again because they're taking, unnecessary risk. When you have very little capital, you have to, take trades that are in your favor. You don't have the money to risk. Right? So it's important to go and use a higher probability strategy. And that's why I think Millionaire Trading Academy works. And that's why now I'm actually going to be putting in a new set, which is about how to trade spreads on stocks, because I've been learning now over the 2 weeks some things that I like to teach some people, and I'm extending that in the course. So the course is going to unfortunately be probably another hour longer. All right, probably another hour longer, maybe another 20 videos or so. But it is what it is. So it's going to continue to mature. The website might end up changing, might look different, but if you bought in, you're in for life. All right, let's go. What else you guys are looking at? Let me see what else you guys are looking at. We've been seeing the collapse in crude. Boy, this is a short trade that I just regret. I was looking at this so hard. Oh, God, I should have really jumped on this a couple years ago. CRC. But yeah, crude companies in America are just falling apart. I did a live on that about how crude stocks are just falling apart. I mean, it's just been a capitulation of the U.S. energy industry, as crude has been unable, which is good for us. I mean, which is good for the people in the course, right? Which has been good for the people in the course, because I've been teaching people in the course to make money. What? Hey, am I still live? Okay. Press 1 if you can see me, because it's saying 0 people watching. Press 1 if you can still see me right now. Let me know you can still see me and hear me. Press 1. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to keep going there because it literally says 0 people watching. So I'm thinking like my line got disconnected or something. Okay. I'll keep going. All right. Yeah, it literally says 0 people watching. All right. But yeah, man, Kenny, yeah, it's about being consistent, man. It's about being consistent, because if you're consistent, again, when you look at base hitters, I'm looking at guys like Ichiro. He's retired now, but making a fortune, barely hitting any home runs, not a very, exciting in the outfield, but, as an offensive player, not very exciting. But the guy got on base, man. The guy got on base. And I think trading should be the same way. You might hit a home run here and there. I hit home runs here and there, but I think sometimes just getting on base is just so much more important. Getting on base, getting your 300 here, your 400 here, maybe your 1,500 here. That really, over the course of 12, 24, 36 months, man, that can really change, your situation. It really can. And your mindset and your confidence about yourself. I can't even tell you what just going from 1 to 10,000 can do for someone. It's a different thing. It's really a different thing. Somebody said there's something going on in the markets right now. Gold is up. Well, look, I've got some gold longs. I don't like to check my things every day, because once you get into the habit, it's like porn. Once you get into the habit, it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. Once I move to spreads, I kind of let things kind of go. Maybe 3 times a day, I will look at the chart, but I don't like to stare at the charts. When you start staring at it, you start getting to the habit, and every hour and oh my God, You're not going to be productive doing other things. But gold, I mentioned it last year. In December, I told you guys in 2020, gold, silver will outperform stocks. I'm going to say it now. And I'm saying that with the basis that the Fed will end QE, not QE, in April. All right. So if they end it in April like they say they're going to do it, then yes, I think gold and silver outperforms. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think there are going to be so many people rushing into this thing. Oh, my God. You saw it hit 1,600 last week. Oh, let me tell you guys something. If you read any book about the stock market from the 1960s or 1970s or even in the early 19 to mid 1980s, even early 90s, even some of the books in the early 90s, some of you in here are old enough to remember this. When they talked about investing, they always mentioned to have at least 10% or less, 5 to 10% exposure in gold. 5 to 10% exposure in gold. That was like a thing for a very, very long time. For the last 25 years, that's pretty much been off the table. That's been off the table. Now, if that becomes a thing again, right? If that becomes a thing again, which it should. I mean, this is the opportune time for everybody to get a little bit of exposure into this thing. Right? If you read or watch Mike Mahoney's videos on gold and silver, if that becomes a thing again, all right, we can be looking at gold above $5,000 an ounce. Above $5,000 an ounce. Now, again, that is a number we will reach not in like a couple days, but in over the course of time. Again, it's been a 400% return over the last decade, right? And every time I say that, people say, well, Bitcoin has been, okay, yes, Bitcoin's doing its thing. All right, Bitcoin's still doing its thing, but at the end of the day, there's going to be something better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin reminds me of not DVDs, but what was that DVD that was supposed to be better than DVD? You guys remember? It was the one with sharper picture. Somebody tell me what those DVDs were called. Forgot what they were called. There was, all right, so back a couple years, so back over a decade ago, like 2005, Blu-ray. There we go, Blu-ray. Bitcoin is Blu-ray. There we go. Bitcoin reminds me of Blu-ray. It's an HD DVD can be considered, but Bitcoin is Blu-ray. I think it's hot right now, but there's going to be something else that's going to come apart where it's, all right, this right here, it's faster. It's, you know what I mean? Doesn't take as much energy. We're going to fuck with this. Bitcoin, I think, is Blu-ray. It'll fall apart. But boy, the technology is amazing, and we love the way it looks and operates. But I think Bitcoin is Blu-ray. I think the technology, if you want to keep it 100, the technology of Blu-ray is already kind of played out. I mean, the technology on Bitcoin is already kind of played out, man. When you really think about it, Bitcoin is a little played out on the technology, fam. It's kind of old. Litecoin's faster. It's cheaper to produce. All right. Again, I don't know how these cryptos, operate, but I can tell you that Litecoin is a much better crypto than Bitcoin. All right. All right, here. So yeah, stay with gold, guys. Stay with gold and silver. Get yourself some exposure into that. Get yourself some exposure, please. Definitely get yourself some exposure into gold and silver. I mean, this thing is it's not it's not it's not expensive. All right, it's not expensive. There are several different ETFs, but preferably you definitely want to get into the futures. I think that the futures is better using a spread trade. You could even go out. I'm already got some $20 calls in silver. I made a video called The Chase for $20 silver because I think $20 silver could be as soon as this year. I really believe that. So I'm going to continue to buy calls until that works out for me because the return still makes sense. Somebody had mentioned what I think about some brokers, M1 Finance and Stash, and all I gotta say is that if it works for you, great, man. If it works for you, great. My thing is they don't allow me to trade the way I want to trade. But there are some people that Acorn makes sense for them. You know what I mean? The problem with Acorn is that you're only really going to save as much as you earn, right, or as much as you spend. If you don't earn a lot of money, then you don't spend a lot of money, so you won't save a lot of money. Someone who doesn't make a lot of money has to go above and beyond to save money, right? So, maintaining or accelerating your spending and you don't make a lot of money, Acorn really doesn't help you, right? You just need to, either upskill yourself or get aggressive with just not spending money. So therefore, Acorn is a useless tool. How do I like the Forex market, Brian? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Forex market because I can't bet on both sides of the trade. All right. Forex is a market where the person doesn't have enough information to do well as a trader. All right, you don't have enough information. You got entire banks that have whole buildings dedicated to particular currencies. And here you are in your bedroom with your balls hanging out, and you think you're going to outperform or trade as well as a financial institution. For the most part, it doesn't happen. That's why guys in Forex, they're always trying to sell you in on the lifestyle. They're not actually selling you on, hey, I'm making money trading this thing. But if you got to trade Forex, I like the exotics. I love the exotics, the U.S. dollar Mexico, U.S. China, U.S. South Africa, right? I mean, those are the ones where if you go out and you're playing on a weekly time frame or a monthly time frame, I can see how you could make money using technicals. But day trading the Euro USD, man, it's fucking bullshit, man. There's no recognizable price pattern there. I mean, you're just trading noise, man. Life for business, yes, sir. We're trading micro futures. We're trading micro futures with options. All right, but we stay on the liquid side of the deal because not all of them have the same amount of liquidity. So ES 500s, a little bit of NQ, a lot of crude, right? You can do iron condors on crude. We got wide iron. In fact, if you go to my Instagram, I showed you how to make $1,000. I think I had made like a little over $600 over 2 days in a crude trade. And this is at 90% probability, man, because the crude options are so generous. I mean, it's saying how generous those crude trades are because the liquidity is insane. You guys got to understand, there are people who are taking delivery. There are people who are taking physical delivery of these things. We're trading in the same market. That's why futures options are so generous. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're taking. Okay, you're talking about. No, I don't trade the M. No, 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 not the. No, no, I don't trade. No, I don't trade those that small. My problem with that is the liquidity is just. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, man. It's been a while since I've checked. Maybe it's changed, but I wasn't happy when I looked at them almost a year ago in terms of liquidity. See a lot of people buy Ripple. Yeah, there was a move. I think was it last week on Dash. There was a nice little move on Dash. Y'all need to check that out. Dash is the one that people Dash and Monero ran a couple days ago. Now Monero, I'm feeling Monero. I think Monero could be, could be up there, man. I think Monero could be up there with Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. I mean, Monero is. I mean, if the FBI can't tell what you're buying, I just think that's got to be a crypto everybody's got to be hot about, man. When the federal government can't even break through it, you got to love that. You got to love that, man. If you really, I mean, who wants? I mean, really, who wants all their transactions on a ledger? I don't want my transactions on a ledger. I don't want anybody to be able to tell when I'm going out to buy some ass or buy some toilet paper or going to buy a PS4. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to see any of that shit. You know? You say you use Stash for buying ETFs. What happened to just good old Robinhood? Nobody likes good old Robinhood? M1 is good, Stash is okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Robinhood. I know some people, if you're day trading, Robinhood isn't probably the best. But there's nothing wrong with Robinhood, man. People getting bread on Robinhood, man. Some of you in here have made some good money on Robinhood. But I do understand the calls for, improving the entries and exits, because sometimes, I've read the Twitter of people who are like, man, I'm trying to get out and they won't let me out. Fucking Robinhood won't let me out. J Nug. Yeah, the gold stocks really haven't been running very well. There's a gold stock called Newmont I want to talk to you guys about. NEM. Nobody produces more gold in the world than Newmont. Newmont is the number one gold producer in the world. This is my 2020 stock to watch, and it's looking like it wants to do something. So I'm going to put it out there now. I got 51 people in here watching, and Newmont is definitely a stock you need to be paying attention to. All right? You need to be paying attention to Newmont. All right, as it tries to set a new RSI high here. Hopefully it can break through some of this resistance and bust out of here. That 60 RSI's got to go. We got to get above that so we can, get popping here. But Newmont, and I'm going to make a video here soon. 10 gold stocks to watch for 2020. And, a couple of them are, ones you've heard before. But some of them might be some new ones. That the list might get bigger. But there's some pretty good gold penny stocks out there that are going to have a nice little run this year. JT said you can mix your ETFs better on M1. Okay. What's going on, Austell Gray? Gold is watch 4K Ultra. Bitcoin is Blu-ray. Okay. Yeah, gold is 8K, man. Gold is 8K. Gold will always be, king of kings. I don't care. People say, well, all the gold in the world is still on the planet. Well, you haven't seen all the gold in the world. You don't know where all the gold in the world is. You know what I mean? So there are many instances and use cases for gold. But man, that's something worldwide people respect. I mean, you can take gold to Bolivia, you can take it to China, you can take it to Uganda. Everybody knows what gold is, and it has value. All right, it has value. You know, you don't even have gas stations that want to take Bitcoin anymore. I remember when it first came out. You remember there were gas stations taking Bitcoin, and then once they realized it took an hour and a half to validate to buy some damn coffee, people stopped fucking with it. You know, you guys remember that? There used to be Bitcoin machines out here. There used to be places where you can, yeah, we take Bitcoin. All right. And then when you have people who are just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna hodl. I'm like, well, if it's what's the use case of everybody hodling? You know? AEM. You say you're buying one gold bar tomorrow. I don't know what the cause is for physical gold. I'm not big on physical gold. Because the problem with physical gold is, man, physical gold bars, those buyers are even more the word picky isn't the right word for it. But when you talk about physical gold, and I've done some reading on this, the individuals who buy and sell physical gold have very particular taste. And there are certain miners or certain banks that sell physical gold that are more valuable than others. So when it comes to physical gold, even though you may have 10 ounces, I may have 10 ounces, both 10 ounces are not the same. For example, if it comes from the Bank of England, the Bank of England gold is more valuable than some upstart out of Nevada. Same 10 ounces. All right, same pure 9999 gold. No, I get what you're saying, Kenny Dunn. I'm just trying to educate the people. I get what you're saying. I'm just educating the people. So be very careful when you buy physical gold and silver, because where you buy it from is just as important, if not more important, than how much you're buying. You know, there's a scam out there right now targeting black people where it's like this cryptocurrency that is attached to gold, right? And it's like on a little debit card looking thing, and it's like a little piece of gold that you barely enough to put on your fingernail. And there are a bunch of YouTubers promoting it, and mostly the poor black folks. And that's not enough to say. That's nobody will go and buy that from you. I mean, it's not a resellable value, you know, to anyone. It's a joke. I know somebody here knows what it is. It's a joke. Yeah, SEC Trader. I'm mostly doing that, but I'm of course I'm still using that, but it goes along with of course making sure that the stock is above the 10-month moving average, right? The stock has to be above the 10-month moving average. It still has to be at the top of my Keltner channel, right? For example, AEM. Here's AEM. Somebody mentioned in the chat room that looks really good here, right? This looks like a clear buy on AEM right now. All right. Looks like a clear buy here so far. So, but yeah, John Hayden's strategy is just so good. When I look at his RSI, 60-40, 40-80 strategy, or, 80-40, 60-20. It just works. It just works every time, every chart. It just works. Carrot bars. Thank you, JL Turn. Carrot bars is a multi-level marketing program that's targeted to poor black people, and they're basically buying and selling these little carrots on debit cards that nobody will buy, and people will realize when it's time to sell that shit, nobody will buy that from them because one carrot is not investment grade. That's not investment grade. That's like, hey, honey, here's a carat of gold. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go sell that to somebody at the pawn shop who's going to rip you off and pay half what you paid for it. But an investor is not going to buy 1 carat from you. There it is. Yep, JT, 20 to 60, 40 to 80. It works. Whatever time frame I've used it on, it just works. Kenny Dutton say try MACD, but RSI is easier, better indicator. Yeah. I just think RSI is better. It just is better. You know, for a long time I tried to hunt for an indicator that worked, and at the end of the day, the most simple is RSI. Second to that, is your moving averages. And then after that, you're probably Bollinger Bands, which is a great indicator to use when we're talking about oversold and overbought, because the probabilities are nearly 3 to 5% likely to pull back when you're above that higher band. All right, 3 to 5% in terms of whether or not it'll go higher. So you can sell anything above 3 to 5%. And that's going straight into your account. What about Spider? Yeah, Spider's good. Spider's good. GLD is just fine. Someone said, what about spiders? Yeah, GLD is just fine. In fact, I always suggest, I got my old man in GLD. I tried to get him into the futures. He thought that, it was a bit too much capital. And he just kind of wants, straight in, straight out. So, but GLD is nice, man. GLD is a nice play. GLD is just fine. All right. Again, when you buy GLD, you're buying a share of ownership into, I want to say it's 25,000 ounces or 20,000 ounces, something like that. You can read the prospectus, but you're buying ownership into a trust that buys gold, physical gold. So you're buying yourself ownership into a physical gold trust. Now there is an ETF where you can take physical delivery. You can go and you can buy 3 shares, and you can literally go and take physical delivery. Gold ETF with physical delivery. What's that? I'm gonna get that ticker for you. There's a ticker out there that somebody here knows what it is. Gold ETF with physical delivery. There it is. I think it's AAU. AAAU. Yep, there it is. Is that the one? I think this is the one. Yeah, physical Swift Gold. There might be a couple of them. There might be more than one. But I know this is one of them. But as you can, this is, again, they're relatively new. This one just came out in September of 2018. All right, they're relatively new. But this is one that allows you to take physical delivery of gold. All right, so you buy into it, and if you want the physical delivery of what that share of ownership represents, you can do that. All right. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. But I would always suggest, guys, just go with GLD. Just get yourself some GLD. Appreciate you, Leon. Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. I'm going to clock out here in just a minute. Mad Scientist. Okay, got you on the 8 moving. Yeah, the 8 EMA. That's a good one, too. That's a good one. Yeah, because he was using 4 and 8. 8 EMA is a very short-term moving, average. And, the problem with that is that you really have to, it depends on what stock you're using it on. Because, again, when you're looking at the 8 moving average on a ticker like Apple, I mean, you're going to break that constantly and it'll be right back above it on, the very next candle or the next day. Right? Because there's so much thirst. Yeah, JDXJ is another one. JDXJ is another one. I think that's another miner. Yeah, that's another miners. All right. And JDXJ is like the junior version of JNugs, right? I think it was part of that JNug thing. Appreciate you, T-Moon. What's going on, Dawson's? Yeah, man, I'm about to head up out of here. You just coming in. I'm sure you was out there making your money. Joe Silver, you said you used the 50 and the 200. On what time frame, Joe? The 50 and the 200. Yeah, see, 50 and 200 definitely, when you're going that far out, you're definitely getting a good signal on 50 and 200. I mean, you really are getting, some people would say that's too late, but I think that's fine. I think you're really getting a good sign that, either, this is a real bull move or a real bearish move. Because you're just not so close. You're not on top of the price action with the 50 and 200. All right. So again, guys, the stocks to watch tomorrow are, the ones that have been the most exciting. I mean, you got to look at Tesla. You got to look at AMD. Of course, the stocks you're already trading. Disney's been a monster. I'm really looking at Netflix tomorrow. I think Netflix can push a lot of stocks higher or lower tomorrow. All right, depending on what they deliver, what they put out. I'm really excited about Netflix tomorrow. Some of these stocks that have been kind of daggers, like Square. Do we see some news? Or continue to see them struggle? Twitter is another one that's been I didn't really touch on today, but it kind of had been struggling. Going into this year. You know what I mean? Twitter has pretty much been going nowhere. Here's 2018 Twitter, 2019 Twitter wasn't really that exciting either. Twitter has a lot to prove. All right. We saw housing put up a really great number. I mean, it's insane what's going on in housing. These cheap interest rates not helping the banks on the bottom line, but definitely helping people get into, homes that they otherwise couldn't afford. You got a lot of people who are able now to get themselves into homes they couldn't afford because of that low interest rate makes that payment lower, right? So because it makes that monthly payment lower, and that's where a lot of Americans, they're all about the monthly payment and not necessarily about, oh shit, this thing is actually like really, really expensive. They're not paying attention to the actual cost of the home. So what's happening is that as interest rates are going lower, the prices of these homes is actually going higher. Right? That's why you got people who, hey, 30 years ago I bought my house for, $42,000 and now they're selling it for $350, $360, $370. It's a huge cash out for them. It's a huge windfall for a lot of people. Right? So companies like Home Depot and Lowe's have been huge beneficiaries of what's going on in housing right now. Here's Lowe's, still hanging above all-time highs. Almost made a new all-time high on Friday. So I've been watching Lowe's for a very, very long time. You see 3-bedroom, 2-bath going for $600K. Yeah, I mean, particularly if it's a neighborhood where you feel like it's not worth it. But there's a coming housing crash that's going to be coming here very shortly, guys, because the oldest baby boomer just turned 71, 72. And one thing I know about old people is once they retire, right? I mean, they physically cannot do their job anymore. And that's what about the baby boomers. Baby boomers are going to try to hang on to their jobs as long as possible. These people, they're not like their parents. They're not going to just retire and go somewhere. They need to be pushed out. And once they're pushed out, and not pushed out by the organization, but they're going to be pushed out because they physically can't do the job like they want to. And that will happen this decade for a lot of them. You're going to see a huge crash, particularly in any place that is cold. Particularly in any place that is cold. If you live in a state that's cold, the amount of homes that will go on sale over the next 20 years, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how many houses are going to be just sitting out there. There are going to be so many houses for sale. If you live in a place like Indiana, you live in Michigan, you live in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I mean, you live in these cities where old people, winters are hard on them. I mean, winters are hard on old people. Winters are hard on old people. They're going to be thousands of homes on the market. There are going to be thousands of homes on the market. So if you're a sucker to buy a house in those states that are cold, you're going to have your asses handed to you over, toward the end of this decade and in the beginning of the next one, because they're going to want to leave and go somewhere where it's nice and warm. Look at places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Texas, lower parts of Oklahoma, places like that where older people can go and it's not necessarily so hard on their bodies. It's a climate refugee. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Climate refugees. Absolutely. Because you look at some of these northern states and it's getting colder because of some of the things that we've been doing to the planet. It's getting harsh. California, California could, California maybe. I don't know about California. I don't know if somebody, will leave a place like Michigan and go to California. Because, you're retiring out of Michigan. You don't really have, California paper like that. You're going from Michigan to, to Alabama, or Michigan to North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. People are leaving Cali, bro. People are leaving. People who've been lifetime born in California got to leave California because they can't afford it no more. There was a good movie called The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Watch that. I think it's on Netflix. The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Sad story, but that's what's happening to a lot of people in California. They're getting priced out. They're getting priced out, man. And California is going to be an environmental disaster too, waiting to happen. People don't got no water. They don't got no. California in itself is just fucking itself in the ass. 4,000 a month in there when to leave. Yeah, California makes no sense, which is crazy because California was dirt cheap. You go back and you look at some of them, and because Google can do that, where you look at homes, 1950s, 1960s California, they were dirt cheap, man. Dirt cheap. But this is what cheap money does. There's a movie, Two Brothers and Their Father. Yeah, something like that. About some brothers trying to get a house back, about that their grandfather built or something like that. It's been a while since I watched it, but good movie. You live in Cali, working the oil fields, lots of people leaving because of governor holding up the frack permits and drilling permits a lot more. It's, yeah, man. I mean, California, it's a different type of Democrat out there, man. It's a really different kind of Democrat out there. And, these are and that's why, I have a love-hate relationship with liberals. And the fact that they make things more expensive. Their whole protectionism aspect, which is, liberalism in itself is somewhat totalitarian in nature at the end of the day. If we allowed liberalism to go unchecked, it would eventually mold itself into full-out totalitarianism. But, not to drag too far into it, but at the end of the day, California makes itself expensive. They have some of the worst building codes in the nation. They have some of the worst their building codes are horrible. They got permits up the ass to build a property in California. They got some of the worst, anti-business laws for just hiring people. Everything is just expensive, just for no reason. And you look at some of these southern states, one of the reasons why they're so attractive to people is because their building codes are very lax. They have very lax building codes. North Carolina probably, anybody in here who lives in North Carolina will tell you their house, you can, houses that are literally on a parcel on a corner lot. A corner lot that are big enough to be, somebody's bedroom. The whole house would be in that damn thing. Anywhere where there's a little space, they'll fit a house into that in North Carolina. That's why housing is so cheap in the state. Dallas, Texas is reasonable. Okay. Dallas and Houston is where, you're just getting that huge urban sprawl, which is just ridiculous. It's just that huge urban small. Houston is just so big, man. It takes almost an hour to get on one side of the city to the other, maybe even more. It's just that huge urban. And Texas is going to keep growing too, man. Texas is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And Texas is another place where they just build anywhere. You'll see a 15-story building right next door to a McDonald's. You walk out the building, there's a McDonald's like right there. You're like, what the hell? Who planned this out? But that's why housing is so much more affordable in Texas than it is in California. Oh, I don't doubt it. Money bags, I don't doubt it. I'm sure there is still a lot of money in Cali, but you got to have a lot of money to make a lot of money. See, the great thing about these southern states is you can go there with very little money and then make a lot of money. But to go out to California and strike it rich is a lot harder now than it is, I think, anywhere else. On some straight business shit, Texas has a lot of jobs for oil field workers. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of guys who, hey, if you just want to, if you're able-bodied, go out to Texas, get yourself an oil job. Convenience purposes, that's why it's out there. What's going on, Bigger KH? Apartment building. Yeah, or an apartment building, all that. Yeah, man. You'll go out to Cali, you'll see again 10, 15-story building right next door. It's a 7-Eleven or an apartment building or some weird structure. Just, it's weird down there in Texas, how they build things. All right. California flooding with Arizona. Well, look, New York is going to be flooding soon too. You saw that post Trump made a couple days ago, right? Where, he was talking about they were going to stop building that $2 billion water fence that they were going to build in New York. And he said it was ridiculous. All right, they were going to build like this fence where it's going to help build a wall where it's going to be made of like shells and a whole bunch of other environmentally sound things to prevent New York from flooding. And he was like, man, fuck this shit. I don't know. He hasn't updated us on the wall in a minute. He hasn't updated us on the Trump wall in a minute, but I have no doubt that construction is going well. It's facts. But at the end of the day, man, people are still coming into America, like it or not. It's not necessarily always through the border too. People coming here on ships. People are flying in on tourist visas and staying. You know what I'm saying? Students, international students coming here on the international student visa, and they're just kicking it here. I was in college with a couple of those guys who were just like, man, I'm not going back. They just hang out here. You got a lot of people who come here on ships. You got a lot of people who come here on them H1B visas, right? Working with tech companies. 1 month turns into 6 months, into 2 years, and so they stay here. So immigration to America is a lot of different things. And and personally, I don't see the dent. I mean, some people have said there's been a dent in it. I don't see it, but I don't, maybe those of you guys who live in Texas or something like that, maybe you've seen it. One thing I have noticed that there's definitely been a lot more. I've definitely been seeing a lot more white dudes on construction sites. I've been seeing a lot more white dudes on construction sites lately. So that means that immigration is definitely curbed, because for the last couple years, it was kind of hard to find a white dude on a construction site. I'm like, where? Goddamn. White roofer. It was kind of hard to find them down here in North Carolina. You know what I mean? But now that they've, Trump's made it hard to hire illegal immigrants. You're starting to see a lot more different guys working those sites. We said mainly Mexican roofers. Okay. New York City tradesmen make up to 100K. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it, man. When I went up to New York City, again, I was trying to break into Wall Street, but there were guys. I met guys there who were like elevator repairmen who make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I never even knew, that was a 6-figure job, an elevator repairman. Those guys make a shitload of money. And that's not even a job that requires any education. That's actually like an apprenticeship. That's an apprenticeship. You say 100K in New York is not a lot of money. That's true too. That's true too now. But look, you were making 100. These guys have been making good money for a long time, though. These guys have been making money for a long time. Now, as costs go up, now they're losing that buying power. All right, they're losing that buying power as costs go up, particularly if they're just getting into the game now. For example, if you're just now getting into the game, you're just now making those 6 figures, you're not seeing the kind of oomph to your money that a guy who's been in the field 20, 25 years, the kind of things he was able to do with the kind of money he made. That's why when the administration talks about, oh well, wages are going up for workers, decade improvement, but well, it's wages are going higher, but their costs are going higher. So when you add up wages and then you add up the cost of housing, food, healthcare, childcare, you haven't made any money. There's been no wage growth. In fact, they've actually lost buying power, and they're having a decent wage over the course of the last 20, 25 years. Workers have actually lost money. You've actually lost money. You say they fix elevators just so they can break again. Hilarious. My thing is, I never understood when I was living in New York how all the elevators smelled like urine in the projects. Every project elevator smells like urine. I mean, when I first got there, I didn't really know my way around, so I'd go to people's projects. And then when I heard a guy getting beat up, then I stopped doing that shit. But, when you go there, I was staying with people, and I didn't really want to be at the house all the time, so I was on these dating sites just looking for ass. And all the girls, of course, just like in any other city, all the girls who have huge tits or big asses, they're all in like the roughest part of town. All right. So I'd make my way over there, and every freaking building in these horrible parts of town, their elevator smells like piss. What the fuck? And it's just like, it's just weird, bro. It's just fucking weird. All right. Oh yeah, man. And then when you're walking at night, I started, giving myself a little draggy leg, and wearing a big puffy coat to make myself look hard and shit like that. Because these guys will just rob you. I mean, these guys will walk up on you, but if you walk around like you got a pistol on you, people don't fuck with you. You know what I mean? People don't fuck with you. I remember one night I had a ski mask on. God damn, I've never seen so many people cross the street that fast in my life. But it was a brutal cold day. And I wore a ski mask, and god damn, shit. I mean, you want to talk about, dude, I put that shit on, turned the corner, motherfuckers ran, dude. Ran. God damn. That shit was hilarious. Yeah. I was living in on President Street in Crown Heights. President, and what was that? What was the corner of President and I forgot that other main street there. But I know I always took that. Was that the 4? Yeah, it was always the 4 train. I'd take the 4 train all the way to the Bronx. Because at that time, I really developed the habit of Latinas. I mean, that's where oh my God, I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican women. Oh my God. Oh, fine is not the word for those women. Oh my God. Them women are so damn fine. Oh. I mean, I gotta tell them women are blessed. But they live in the roughest fucking part of town, man. You know what I mean? They live in the roughest fucking part of town. So as soon as you get off the train, you gotta walk hard, man. You gotta walk. These guys are looking at you up and down because you don't live in their neighborhood. You gotta act like you got a gun on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Joe, absolutely. Yeah, now I am. and have been for almost 2 years now. Almost 2 years now. You know, as long as I can keep pulling in, 5 to 7,500, 5 to 7,500 a month, I'm not going to get a job. As long as I can keep that, I'm fucking five to 75 or more. I mean, some months I'll do better than that because some months the black box just tears it up, man. People are signing up like crazy, and that itself will pull in another 3 to 3,500 monthly. Because I'll run ads or do some shit like that. But as long as making those trades, 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 800 here, and then most of that too, I keep my costs very, very low, so I reinvest a lot of my profits. I keep my costs down very, very much. Yeah, them Dominicans are fine, man. Their family is racist as hell. Their families are racist as hell. But they're the women are fine, dude. Dominican women, Puerto Rican women, fine. Even like the ones that aren't like super dimes, they're fine. And this one girl, she was showing me pictures of her cousins on the island. Like, bro, a Dominican 7 is a 10 in America. A Puerto Rican 6 is a good 8.5, 9 in America. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to go out to Puerto Rico or go out to the Dominican Republic, I would definitely suggest you go out there and visit. Yes, that's true. That's very true, Clay. That's very true, Clay. That's very true. I mean, you look at these people's faces. I can see the black grandmother in their face. You know what I mean? I could see the black grandmother in their face. I could see it in that, But I would just keep that stuff to myself because that gets them started, man. You start talking about their, oh man, y'all are hiding y'all blackness. Oh man, that just gets them started. Particularly the ones that are the big deniers. That gets them started. But yeah, you go down there. There's a brother who's got a channel, and he's living out there. Not the guy who you may think of. He's another dude, because I know there's one that's really popular, but there's another dude who he lives in the south of the Dominican Republic, a part of the country that doesn't get very many visits at all. Right? That doesn't get very many visits at all. And it's a dark-skinned brother. Bro, I'd say, brown-skinned, higher, But, man, the honeys that he has on his channel? God damn. Let me get you his channel. Let me show you his channel real quick. Yeah, his channel is Check in Effect. Check in Effect. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat room. I at least put the name of it. Check in Effect. That's the brother's channel. And he's just in the Dominican Republic. And he's just kind of going around and like recording random women. That's one of the videos. I don't know if y'all could copy that or not. That goes to one video. I don't know if that. Let me share it. Hold on. Let me get a shorter link. Can I get a shorter link? There we go. This is a shorter link. Ignore that one. That one. I don't think that one works. This is a better link. Yeah. Now, Yes, that's right. Now he's not going to the prostitution spots. You see, that's the way now. You don't want to go to the, and I don't fuck with that, man. You don't want to go to the prostitution type. That's what my thing is. I don't like prostitutes. I like, I like, yeah. You want to stay away from the prostitution areas. You want to go to where it's just women who, maybe just ain't got it like that. I mean, there might not be very many jobs, and you find a shorty that's just cooperative. You feel me? Do y'all get what I'm trying to say? She's just cooperative. Yeah, you don't want to you don't want to fuck with escorts, man. Because now you're talking about venereal diseases and STI. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that, man. You don't want to deal with that. You find a part of the country where people don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? You go to a spot like that, meet a breezy. Do I have to pay taxes on my trade? Absolutely. Everybody got to pay taxes. Now, again, I have a guy who does all that for me, and I don't know what he does. I'm not going to, but I do have it always double checked by somebody else. But, for the most part, again, I've been using a corporation, right? I've been using a corporation, and I can show losses in a way where my taxes I don't pay a lot. All right, I don't really pay a lot. And by the way, you can get certified as a trader through the IRS. You can Google that, and there's a way for you to be able to get certified that way. But one thing I can tell you is, that getting paid. Well, let me not put that out there. Let me not put that out there. All right, but it's definitely better than a W-2. It's getting that other income. All right, getting that other income, getting getting paid the way somebody who is, gosh, that form is just escaping my head right now. Is the way a consultant is paid. Because a consultant is not a W-2 worker. He gets another form. And that escapes me right now. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But getting paid that way, 1099. Why am I forgetting? 1099. 1099 is so much better than W-2. If I knew about 1099 income when I graduated from high school, I would have fucked with 1099. I would have never went and worked for somebody else. If I knew 1099 was as beneficial, as it is, that you can show losses, you can, defer. I mean, it's just so much better. So many, America's tax system is so slanted towards people who create jobs and people who work for themselves, man. Like, if you're a worker, you're just fucked. If you're just a regular, hard-working man, the tax system fucks you over. I know I'm jumping here. I know I'm jumping from topic to topic here, but I just got to get that off my shit. If you can find a way to get yourself some 1099 income, man, 1099 is where it's at, man. 1099 is where it's at. Oh, yeah. America's tax system is for job creators. People who create jobs, people who work on some type of consultative basis, right? So you're not a full-time employee. They don't really pay you no benefits. You're kind of, hey, this I'm going to do for you. You're going to give me my money. That's 1099 is where it's at, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joe Silva. Absolutely. Now that's if you're not using a corporation, right? So if you're not using a corporation, you're just kind of you put your name in your broker. Your broker has your name and that's what he's going to send you. Look at my IG if you want to see some hot oneself females. Type in females wanted, female models wanted. Type in where? Dawson, on your channel? Oh, on your IG. Okay. Dawson, that's your IG, female models wanted? That's the name of it? What is this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Katie said, "If I'm you, I'm putting everything in a trust." Yeah, I gotta get up on the trust game. I gotta get up on the trust game. I gotta get up on the trust game because there's a lot of, there's a lot of things I've been hearing over the years about trust. And I'm gonna sit down with a lawyer and who knows about that stuff. Controller, don't own anything in your name. Controller with a trust. I like that. Because I want to see, can I trade out of a trust, though? Can you trade out of a trust? Or is it a thing where you have your corporation and you sell the corporation to the trust? So you trade with the trust name, but the trust owns the corporate. I mean, you trade with the corporation account, but the trust owns the corporation. See, I'm going to have to get some help. Okay. Trust help when you get a divorce. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that. Vows that protect you from the prenup. Yeah. See, man, the thing about the prenup, man, it's like, I think sometimes a divorce, you can kind of like predict that stuff. Because, if you married a woman that's up on game like that on the mental level, you know what I mean, then you kind of need that, right? But, I mean, some of these, some women, they're just not up on game like that to where like a prenup is like necessary. You got to get what I'm saying? I mean, a man should always protect himself, but there's some certain women you just kind of know she's going to be a rider like that. Or am I blinded? I mean, some women are going to be a rider, right? I mean, some women are just kind of be like, because some girl, every guy's been with the girl that he like, man, I can stay with this girl all my life. She ain't going nowhere. I think every guy's had a girl like that. Now, some women have family who are on game. Yeah, that's true too. Very true. Yeah, you can't even but protect yourself. You're right. Watch out, their stocks info. Watch out for the Tyrones. Appreciate your money bags, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you for joining me, bro. Yeah, I'm going to get back on the podcast thing too, man. 'Cause I need to talk about these dudes who were, walking out there today in Virginia, man. These dudes were all strapped up walking around. Y'all see that? I saw the videos on Twitter. Fake ass Metal Gear Solid motherfuckers out there today. Yeah, man. These guys be playing too many video games. These dudes are out of shape. I've been around some real Marines, man. Those guys are just, they got all the gear on and they're trying to look tough and shit. Man, fuck out of here, dude. These guys are holding the guns all tight to their chest and shit. Some of them didn't even have clips in them. And I mean, just ridiculous. Oh, man, I've been around some real Marines, dude. These guys have big ass tummies. I saw the videos. This is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So I'll put out a podcast about that. These women are looking for the come up or need help. There's no love. Man, I want to believe in love, guys. Come on, man. I want to believe in love, guys. I want to believe that there's going to be a woman out there that will stay with me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Until I go old and she can become the matriarch. You know? Appreciate you, Jason Gatewood. I want to believe in love. Y'all, I know a lot of y'all don't want to believe in love. You believe all these women are hoes. You know, these women are good for nothing but fucking. I know a lot of you guys believe that. You know? But I think there's some good women out. I think there's still some good women out there. Now, a lot of them, you know, let's be honest. A lot of them are the foreign women. You know, there's still a lot of good American women out there, but you know, I do been noticing that, you know, these foreign women, you know, particularly these immigrant men, they come here with these foreign women, man. These foreign women, whew, they are loyal. I mean, these foreign women, they will come here with their foreign guy. They're living in squalor, living in the worst part of town, but she's there taking care of the kids, you know, making them clean, walking them to the thing. And she's just loyal. I mean, she's doing stuff an American woman would just be like, why the fuck are we here? Oh my God, we're living like this. I can't believe it. You know? Oh yeah, these Mexican women. Bruh, these Mexican women are riders, dude. Now I'm sure there's some cheating ass Mexican women out there. I'm not saying all of them. I am sure that there's a Jose out there who can tell you about Maria that fucked his cousin and his neighbor, but for the most part, these Mexicans, these, you know, Chinese, these, you know, Vietnamese, I mean, they will do and stay with their men. You know what I mean? Some of these island girls, no romance without finance. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's, you know, that don't apply to every woman. It's particularly when these women come from other countries, man. These Mexican guys come here with no money. And for 3-4 years, no money. You know, eventually they get kicked up. Because I can't tell you, you know, these immigrants come here and in 10 years, bro, they will pass up an American that's been here his whole goddamn life. They will come here and take some bullshit job, work, save, buy into a business, and in that, you know, and just doing good business, he's living better than an American who's wondering what the fuck happened. And all these immigrants do, all they do is just work, and save. They come here for 10 years and they don't spend any money. They'll get 50 grand, 60 grand, 100 grand, right? Or put it together with each other, and they'll go and buy a business. And they'll just go out and do good work. And next thing you know, they're living better than, you know, average Joe. You know, he's walking around talking about, oh, Mexicans are doing this, they're coming in my neighborhood, and they're coming in the, you know. But yeah, it all starts with having a good woman on your side, man. Having a good woman on your side. You know. And men do better too when they have a good loyal woman on their side. I mean, just mentally, you know, they do better. You know, they feel better about themselves. You know, I hate seeing a middle-aged man who's alone. You know, a guy in his, you know, mid-50s, early 50s, or 60s alone. There's no need for it. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone. I used to have a boss at an old job. This guy was like 59 years old and he was not married, no kids. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I thought he was gay. Toward the end of my job there, I was like, hey man, are you gay or something? Like, he's like, no, you know. It's like, dude, all these women out here, you're making good money. You got your own home. All these women out here that are going to sleep at night cold. worrying about their housing situation, worried about, man, you can go out yourself, get a nice breezy, bro. Get yourself a nice, good woman that's going to cook food for you, uh, you know, let you get up in her pussy whenever you want. I mean, just, you don't have to be living like that. There are millions of women out here, you know. Godzilla Essex said, I love Mexican women loyal as fuck. There are millions of women out here, man. You got to be living like a hermit by yourself, going home alone and doing that. No, it's not about being a trick. I think every man is a trick to his wife. Every man is a trick to his wife. If you're a provider type, a dude, I mean, every man is a trick to his wife, in a certain extent. There's a part of trick into marriage. I think you would agree with that. He said, what if you are not attractive? Come on, man. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. There's no, it's not a man's job to be pretty like a woman. Attractiveness is the last thing you should be worried about as a man. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not a Casanova, but when it comes to these females, man, I can pull them in. I can pull them in. And I know it because I go after what I know I can get. I'm good at doing that. I will go after the women I know I can get. And my aim is about, not the super 10, right? Because I get, what's the word for it? But I don't like spending too much time chasing, right? I like the 8.5. I like the 8.5. The 8 to 8.5 is where I like to be. 8 to 8.5. That's where I like to be. That kind of girl, I can. And let me tell you something, man. It's not attractiveness. It is, hey, man, do you pay your bills? Do you have a great place to live? Is where you live clean? Does she feel secure and comfortable around you, about your being? You know what I'm saying? Do you carry yourself? Do you smell good? Do you look clean? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a little bit of spunk about yourself? You ain't got to be the talk of the town, right? You don't have to talk like me. All right? I'll out talk a woman. You don't have to be like me. But that's what a lot. You just gotta be, an upstanding gentleman. If you're an upstanding gentleman, you can get a woman, man. Forget how you look like. You can get a woman. He said 10s are better. Hey, look. Sometimes, yeah, man, if you can get them 10s, hey, knock it out the park, man. My thing is, the maintenance level on a woman who is a 10, the what you have to go to at the beginning to lock a 10 down, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. A lot of guys are willing to deal with that. I ain't willing to deal with that. I ain't got time for that shit. Because you got to go through a lot of bullshit to lock a 10 down. There's just a lot of, she gives a lot of shit tests, and she's, there are a lot of guys in her ear, you know what I'm saying? So it's at the beginning of getting a woman who's a 10, it's just a lot of shit you got to, go through. But yeah, if you can knock down a 10, man, knock them down. Knock them down. But I love the 8, 8.5, because I get what I want out of the physical, and I get the loyalty of the trust, and I get somebody who that is going to be cooperative. I know she's going to be cooperative. I know she's going to have maybe her own thing popping off. She's not going to be overly dependent on, oh, Sal, did you get, did you make some profit today? Can you send me some money? So you got to be comfortable in your own skin. Oh, absolutely. That's where confidence comes from. She either going to follow or get missing. Yeah, yeah. Women, at the end of the day, man, a woman wants to submit to a man. At the end of the day, a woman really does want to submit to a man. But she's just got to be able to believe in what you're doing, and that requires you knowing what the fuck you're doing and where you're going and what you're planning to achieve, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always about having some goal out there or whatever, but it's just about working your purpose and doing what what's the word for it? Working your vision. You know what I'm saying? Just working your vision. Whatever that is for your life. And if she's with it, man, she's going to follow you. But if you're confused and you don't really know what you're doing and you're kind of, living day to day and she's looking at your life and she doesn't see any kind of stability because you haven't manifested that stability in your life, right? One day you're in insurance, then you're in stocks, and then you're in real estate, and then you haven't manifested stability in your life because you don't have a planned purpose, then she's not going to follow you. Nobody's going to follow somebody like that. She don't want to end up homeless. She don't want to end up, on, out in the street on her ass. She wants to be with the guy who knows what he's doing, who believes in what he's doing, who's doing what he wants to do relatively well. It has stability. And, you'll be happy. Because at the end of the day, that woman is going to grow old too. She knows she's going to lose sexual market value. All right? You talk to women, and I'm about to turn 33 here. Look, I don't even talk to women, over 30, but when I get into conversations with women who are over, 31, 32, the pressure is on. I mean, you can just feel like she knows, she's not pulling guys in like she did when she was 22, 23. So now it's like, okay, she's looking to get locked down, particularly if she's single. If she's single and she's got a kid or two, especially if she's single, 32, 33, and she's got 2 kids, oh man, the pressure is on. Her mom is getting older, so she knows she's, that help isn't going to be there. That's a woman right there that, look, you're in your early 50s, you don't want to have any more kids. Hey, you can shoot your shot, man. You can shoot your shot. You'd be surprised, man. You're late 40s, you're 46, 47. A girl in her early 30s, man, you can shoot your shot, man. You'd be surprised. You got something going on for yourself. And that's a situation where, man and woman can meet, and that could be a situation that can work out for your favor. You know what I mean? If you're 47 years old, no kids, or if you got kids, you're looking, man, get yourself a young little breezy out here. A bunch of women in their early 30s just out here drifting, man. She might have a kid or two. Man, you take that girl in, she going to come in, cook for you, satisfy you, keep you young, keep you vigilant, You know what I mean? It'd be right, man. Say a woman in her 30s, not married, is damaged goods. Well, damaged goods to someone like me, right? So if I'm 32, I'm not gonna go out and get a woman who's 30 with 2 kids. That'd be retarded. You know what I mean? But if you're, like I was talking about, a middle-aged guy, you're 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. You know what I mean? You don't if you're 51 years old, don't go after a woman who's 48. I mean, you can go after a nice little woman who's in her mid to late 30s. You know what I mean? She may have like a nice, a kid or 2. You don't want any kids. You're up there in age. You know what I'm saying? You can wife a sister like that. I mean, you can get yourself a nice younger woman. You know what I mean? The big mistake guys make is that, they'll be 50, he's 58, and then he tries to go get an 18-year-old girl from like Vietnam or some shit. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You know, 8 out of 10 times that's not gonna work. She's gonna fuck you over. But you can get a nice girl, 10 to 15 years younger than you. Maybe even 20 years younger than you if your swag is like that. If your swag is like that. And if your paper's right. If your paper's right. Yeah, man. Said your dad is 80 and married to a woman who's 53. Damn. See, that's a little bit bigger than I was thinking. I mean, I'm thinking, 15 to, well, that's about 20. Well, yeah. No, that's still, yes, almost 30 years. God damn, almost 30 years. Shit. I don't know. I think 20-year difference is pushing it. More than 20, that's kind of pushing it. More than 20 years, that's kind of pushing it. But if you're 50, you can definitely get a 35-year-old, 36, 37-year-old. If you're 50, you can definitely get a woman who's 37. I don't care I don't care. The only way you can't do it is because you broke as fuck. Because maybe you're broke or, something like that. And maybe you may not want a woman that young. You may not want a young woman. Maybe you want, but you can get a 40-year-old. You can get a woman who's 40 if you're 50. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 10 to 20 years. Yeah, 10 to 20 is all right. 10 to 20 is all right. 10 is very doable. Majority, I stay within 10. I stay within 10 years. Like I wouldn't talk to any woman who's younger than 23. That's a little awkward for me. There was one girl I met maybe like 2 months ago. This girl was, oh my God, my freshman year. I'm so excited. And I was like, oh my God. Hey, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I didn't even want to hit it. I mean, she was throwing it at me. I didn't even want to hit it, man. I was just like, God damn, man. Yeah, 10 is very doable. 10 is very doable. 10 to 20 is okay unless you're 20. Oh, yeah, of course. LK Raw, what the heck? Yeah. Of course, man. No, 10 to 20, you start the 10 to 20 thing. You start the 10 thing when you're 30, right? When you're 30, you can marry a woman who's 10 years younger than you. But, I don't know how many women who are going to want to marry at 20, but, they're out there. And then when you're 40 years old, can a 40-year-old marry a 20-year-old? At 25 maybe. A 40-year-old could marry a 25-year-old woman if she's mentally mature like that. If she's mentally mature like that. But at 40, definitely can get a 30-year-old. A 40-year-old can definitely get a 30-year-old woman. Money Green, you're 48? You say you're dating a 25-year-old? Okay, that's what's up, man. See, that's what I'm saying. You can do, yeah, guys can doing that, man. You got guys out here worrying about how attractive they are, man. You're not a woman. You're not going to have those soft features like a woman, man. You're a man. You know what I mean? Your edges are harder. Your face, you leave the soft and the beauty stuff for the woman. What you need to be as a man is clean. You need to be clean. You need to be presentable. You know what I'm saying? You need to smell good. You know what I mean? And you got to have your life together. You said Dad got the plug on Viagra. See, my thing is you don't even need Viagra, man. If Viagra is a drug that's about keeping blood flow working properly. And blood flow on men that isn't working properly is because they're not getting enough exercise. When I started fasting, and we had a brother in the church, I forgot his name, man. He stopped fucking with me because he thinks I'm not pro-black enough. But when I learned fasting from him, and man, when I started doing them 7-day fast where I just drink distilled water, bro, my boners, they went to like ninth grade level, bro. I've talked about that on the show. These ninth grade boners, those freshman year high school boners, bro, where you are in pain because you're so fucking hard. Oh, man. I started getting those boners again. Somebody said fasting is bad. Fasting is not bad, man. Fasting is not bad. I think you need to do your research, Desert Edge. Fasting is good. I started getting those ninth grade boners, bro. Those ninth grade boners. If you're not getting those boners, bro, where you're literally in pain because your dick is so hard, your skin is stretching, you need to work out more. You need to get yourself some more. You need to get yourself a workout. Yeah, I love fast. I do my little 7-day fast. And I love it, man. I love it. The discipline is great too. I mean, I get a lot from the discipline of doing the fast, but also just being able to stay healthy. I was starting like 2017. I was starting to get like high blood pressure warning and all that. Those are gone. I don't even get that at all. My weight's maintained. But then I stopped eating fast food too. I've completely stopped eating fast food, deep fried chicken, Bojangles, Popeyes. I gotta stop all that shit. Yeah. Fasting every 6 months and 90 days. I'd say 3 months is good for the body. Never did a fast. Yeah, you can start with a nice little 3-day fast, man, where it's just water. You're just drinking water. It's for a beginner, it's always kind of tough because you're so used to eating all the time. Humans, we just eat to eat, not even hungry, just start eating. But my gut went away. My sex drive is incredible. Now, I get blue balls again. You know what I mean? I get blue balls again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I blow real fucking nuts now, dude. I fucking empty my fucking sack now. I'm flooding that pussy now, bro. Yeah, man. Now I'm blowing my load, bro. It's real now. You know what I mean? It's fucking real now. Hell yeah, bro. When you're not sexually satisfied if you're not getting a real fucking orgasm. If you're not getting a real fucking orgasm, it's just like, man, it doesn't even feel like you had sex. If you're not getting a real fucking orgasm, if you're really blowing your fucking nuts out. Oh, fuck. I always do that shit, man. I think I said I was about to leave an hour ago. Hold on. VT. Up 7%. 237. Yeah, VT's turned up, man. Here's the daily. It's turning up now, man. It's in the buy zone, doing really well. Oh, yeah. Look, here's the monthly chart, VT. Yeah, looking good, man. Getting up to that higher time frame. Here's the weekly. Oh, yeah, look at the weekly. Look at that. RSI high. So, yeah, man. VT turning up. Let's see if it can hold it. I don't know what's going on. You're going to have to look at the news. But as you can see here, when it broke out of those RSI levels here, and, going back to, this is January of 2019. Yeah, look at that. New RSI high for the year. Tearing up. So the weekly's looking good. I mean, obviously, it kind of overran itself here a couple days ago. So let's see if it can hold it. Otherwise, it's going to be a really good short for somebody out there if it doesn't hold on. Because I see it really loves those ones. Oh yeah, man. Women are always going to be jealous. Women of your generation or women of your age, they're always going to be jealous of a man who's got a younger woman. Who's always going to be jealous of a younger woman. You know, because I mean, look, a lot of women, who aren't married, man, and women who are married, even if they are married, the fact that you went and got a younger woman, that makes them feel some kind of way. That's very threatening. Because I mean, they'll keep their husbands away from you. You know what I mean? Because even some of my male cousins who are married, I'll bring my breezy around them. And she just finished school, barely 24 years old. And these women are, 36, 37, and man, they cannot stand to be in the same room with us. They can't stand that shit. You can just feel the energy. Women love dealing with other women in their age. So if she's 35, 36, she likes being in a room with women her age or older. you know. But she don't like being in a room full of women who are younger than her, who threaten her sexual market value. Particularly if she's not secure in her own relationship. If she's not secure in her own relationship, then she's feeling a kind of way, a kind of way already. So he said, man with money can always get women. Oh, that's true. But at the end of the day, you do want to be loved, though. I mean, you do want to be loved. It shouldn't be all about the money. You do want to be loved, right? So you do want to find, some commonality outside of just, hey, I can take care of you. So it's good to find a woman who may, let's say if you're a religious man, she's also religious, or she's from your part of town, or your part of the country, right? Or you guys have a love of travel, or what I mean. You want to find something to be, some commonality there that you can share. It shouldn't just be hey, I can help you, I can help take care of you kind of thing. And look, that can work. Look, that whole take care of you thing can work. I mean, it worked for a very long time in America. I mean, if you read, you guys know how much I love the history books. If you read the beginning of Jamestown, the men who showed up in Jamestown, what they did is after they got the settlement, and this is before the the first group died, when they actually got it up and running, and eventually when they got up and running and the Indians actually stopped killing them, they would send for women in Europe to come and live with them. And these women didn't know these guys from anything. But the sales, the pamphlets, you can go and Google these, the pamphlets that they put out to those women was, hey, strong men looking for loyal, dependable women will give you shelter, take care of you. So these women were complete strangers to these men, but they came here to America and they married these guys and lived with them their whole lives. And most of the women who came, they were not necessarily the most prettiest girl of the country, right? They were women who weren't wanted, where a lot of them were either divorcees or widowed and all that stuff, or just living in poverty in Europe. And they made it work. So, a man and a woman who are simply together out of necessity, it does work. It does work. So we all need a smart chick by our side. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some guys who are very intelligent and their wife is not as smart as they are. And they may have like homemaker wives, right? Homemaker wives are okay too. How does it feel to be a full-time trader? I mean, it took a lot to be a full-time trader. I've been on YouTube since 2012, bro. consistently since 2016, but I've been here since 2012. Every guru you can imagine, I've followed him, bro, and lost a lot of fucking money. So being a full-time trader is, is just, you think about, being back at the workforce and all that stuff, but man, I'm a black man. I'm not going to get treated right in the workforce. So, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. You got to constantly hustle. I'm constantly hustling, watching. I got to watch the news like crazy because this is my job. I've got to watch the news like crazy. I can't overspend like I want to. I can't, just be reckless with my money. But the corporate America isn't gonna do right by me anyway. So you might as well do your own thing. You might as well do your own thing. They're not gonna pay me what I want to get paid, even if I get the skills that are in demand. There's more than enough studies out there will show you that I'm still not going to get paid because of what I look like. The fair value. You say you have too many gurus. Yeah, I mean, not only too many gurus, the strategies were not replicable. I know I'm not probably saying that right, but these guys are putting out alerts. I'm trying to copy the trade. I'm trying to. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just took the same trade he did a minute later, and this didn't work out for me. And then I realized these guys were putting out fake trades and, trades they were putting out, some of them didn't even do or take themselves. So that's why now I always put my trades out. My trades are a week, 2 weeks out. So you can go back and tell me if it worked or you can see it. So nobody can say they didn't know what trade. So when I post a profit, you can see a week earlier the trade. I got a video I can show you where I told you what I was getting into. That's what spread trading allows me to do. But then I figured that out by reading books. That because spread trading, you can't it's not a teachable thing. It's not really a teachable thing for YouTube because these trades take, anywhere between 15 to 60 days. So it's not exciting for YouTube. It doesn't get a lot of likes or clicks or anything like that, but the trade works. It's a very boring and slow way to trade, but boring and slow is profitable. I'm learning that every month. What do I think about Joe and Pete Najarian? I think they're good guys, but I don't think the people on the show respect them. Money Green. I think they're good guys and they're running a nice little business, but the people on the show don't respect them because and I'm sure they do research, but they don't present themselves as if they do any research on their trades. Their thing is just like, yeah, we saw huge unlimited. We saw a big buy. They're going in on those Novembers. Those Novembers. I'm going to be on those Novembers for 2.5 weeks, and I don't know. Those of you guys who watch CNBC, you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of guys who just, I don't think they respect their strategy, but I think they're good guys. But the problem with CNBC, which I would really like, is if they actually would follow up on the calls, man. Like, they'll say, hey, what's your last minute trades, and they'll put out a trade, but they don't follow up. It'd be cool if they just give us like a win-loss. If they gave win-loss, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome if we could just get a win-loss thing of like, okay, who put out a trade that worked and who didn't. Even already said money comes from you. You determine how much you make. If you're lazy and don't get out of bed to get to the trade station, you won't make money. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a day trader, that works out, Ebanar. I mean, if you're a day trader, But for me, it just didn't work, man. I just, I try the day trading thing, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some times I'll do a spread trade intraday because it just, the probabilities are just so much in my favor, particularly when we were going back to, last week Apple. I made a couple trades there where I was able to make $1,000, dollars a couple times because we were at these ridiculously high RSI levels, more than a few times, right? If you go back to last week, the 13th, what was that? Was that the 13th? Yeah, the 13th, which was last Monday. And here's the 13th. Here's the last Monday. And, there was money on those 350s, 360s. It was ridiculous, man. I'm selling those over and over again. That at what is that? What was that? 83 RSI? And the 10 delta, 20 delta, I'm selling those every time. But yeah. So he uses 10-second charts? Good God. Who uses 10-second charts? Ross Cameron. Man, Ross Cameron is fake, man. Ross Cameron is fake, man. I don't give a fuck when anybody say. I will never, ever, ever believe anything Ross Cameron does. Anything. I don't believe anybody who says they make $300,000 in a month and you got to sell a course. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. When I cross 100 G's in a month, I'm not selling no goddamn course. Millionaire Trading Academy will not be for. Why would I bother having to sell it? It wouldn't even make no sense. I might as well just give it out for free. What's the point of selling it? It wouldn't even make sense for me to dedicate the time to manage. I don't care, bro. I don't care. Nobody who makes $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, I will never ever believe you that you have to sell a $300 course if you make $100,000 a month. I don't fucking believe you. I don't fucking believe you, bro. You either need the money or you don't need the money. I don't fucking believe you. He said he make money on this course. That's the only way he makes money. I don't believe he ever makes money. I don't believe any of the money he makes trading is real money. I don't believe it. I will never believe that guy, period. I have never, ever met a successful trader of his, ever. I've put out hundreds. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said, if this guy has taught you how to trade profitably and you've made 100 G's listening to this guy, I will give you my platform, bro. You tell me what he's giving you that we need to know. I'm not, no one. There's no one out there. You got this guy here, mad ass. I had him on the show. I gave him 2 hours. There was nothing this man's rumbling for 2 hours. There's nothing you get out of that. I was so pissed off by the end of the interview. Man, look. Hey, appreciate you for coming on, man. Take care. There was nothing. We didn't get anything. It's not, and in his disclaimer, he's literally telling you that he's using a demo. Said Tim Sykes, man, I don't want to talk about him. He got a lot of us started, so I appreciate him for that. So I can't read American Greed. So I'm telling you, yeah. Leon, I'm about to head out. People like you always remind me. I was like, God damn, I've been talking too long. Beginner trader on YouTube live. Always want to learn free. They don't sell anything. Yeah, man. If you're a beginner trader, take some time learning for free. But that's how those guys make money, because there's so many guys who get started, right? I mean, there are millions of men who, become of age and they realize, fuck, my 9-to-5 doesn't really make no fucking money, or I'm making money, but I'd love my money to make money for me. And then they go on YouTube and they see some guy who says he's making all this money, buy my course, right? And his course is like, $500. He's telling you he's making all this money. My course is $100. I think you get a way lot for your money. I'm not probably going to raise the price because I'm making good money with my shit, with my strategy. So I don't have to, slave away and lie to people that I'm making 50,000, 60,000. It's fucking bullshit. Leon, I have to keep up. Oh man, I'm doing it, bro. I'm doing it. I'm here. You said Ross is legit with his free book. Man, come on, man. Come on, Desert Edge. I may start you off, GP. Appreciate you, man. Tim Sykes didn't get you started. I was just poor and started putting money in every stock. I was just looking for strategies. And that guy was the first guy. Yeah, Tim Sykes is usually the one that YouTube points to. Tim Sykes is the one that YouTube, if you start just looking for stock trading stuff, because he's been around for so long, and the algorithm does give weight to how long the channel's been alive, and it's he wins in that aspect as well. So you'll see a lot of, in your feed, you'll see a lot of Tim Sykes stuff. You'll notice that if you just start looking for that particular part of YouTube. So you'll be there soon, full-time trader, Joe. Yeah, man. I mean, if your expenses aren't that high, for example, I'm a single, I'm a single guy. I have a very young daughter. You know what I mean? So, it takes very little money to take care of her. My living expenses are very low. I don't, I'm not a flashy guy. So my living expenses are very low. So this is the opportune time to do that. I mean, the younger you are, of course, the better. It's always, to take up any kind of business, because you have a lot of time to fail or a lot of time to succeed, to develop a plan for you to succeed. But it works at any age. It's just really controlling your expenses and, of course, maintaining profitability. How much would it take to make $2,000 a month? Oh man, maybe like you can make $2,000 a month on probably $6,000. $2,000 a month? Safely, if you can get to $10,000, you can make $2,000 a month. Maybe, some guys will say even less than that, but 10K can get you $2,000 a month. Yeah, $10,000 can get you to $2K a month relatively easy. And again, I'm not talking about active. You're not actively going in and out the market. You may be talking about that, but I'm talking about a spread. Maybe 2 or 3 trades that will net you that $2,000. A $10,000 account where each trade is about $3,500 or so. That's at maybe a 90% probability, each of them netting you, $750, maybe $800, $900 maybe. That's very, very doable. That's very, very doable. But again, you don't want to max out your you don't want to use every dollar in your account, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't want a margin call. That's why some of the people who start my course, there's a tendency for them to want to max out. They got $5,000. They want to use all $5,000. No, if you got a $5,000 account, you should be only taking really on the high end, maybe a $3,000 trade. All right. because again, you don't want to get a margin call. Margin call, they'll close out not the whole trade, but they'll close out, maybe 2 contracts or so, and they'll do anything to keep you in the trade. But you don't want a margin call. They don't want to close out the whole trade. Kenny Dutton, you said your goal is 20% a month. That's what's up. Yeah, 20% a month is very, very generous. I don't like to put my account number out there, but there was a time where 20% a month could make sense. But now, that'd be a little bit. That'd be taking way too much risk. Way too much risk. So 4 to 8% enough is good for me. If I get 8%, I'm happy. Got to get my minimum 4. That's easy, but I try to go with 8. 12 would be nice too. 12 is nice. But again, if I get my 5 to 7,500, that keeps me out of that 9 to 5 bullshit. Kissing some fat black woman's ass, because as a brother in corporate America, they just love putting you under a black woman. They're gonna put you under some old black woman who talks to you like she's your mama. It's corporate America's worse. Vanguard Index Fund is good if you have patience. Have I been hit with a margin call? Yeah. At the beginning of when I didn't understand it, I got hit with margin calls, because what I was doing was I had, a 3,000 and I went to 7,000 account, and I was using literally every dollar. I would do a trade. I had $7,000. I'd do a trade, and I would literally have like $460 left. Well, guess what? In trades, you cannot, in a spread trade, right? And I learned this at the beginning when I really started. In a spread trade, you cannot, if it's shocked, right? If, let's say, the stock goes against you, right? Let's say the position goes against you and starts, starts challenging, let's say, your weakest side, which is typically, for most traders who are in an iron condor, a lot of times is going to be the put side of the trade, right? Because they'll give a lot of space to the call side if it's running higher, like Tesla on the screen right now. So let's say the stock starts selling down and now starts challenging the put side of the trade. Well, guess what? You can get a margin call on that situation. You can get a margin call, because they can say, hey, it's starting to threaten that put side, and we're looking at your trading account, and if this keeps going any further, you might lose this. You might lose this. You might lose this trade. And now the broker is like, well, I don't want to be responsible for it. All right. So even though, for all intents and purposes, the trade could end up successful, right? Could end up successful in the time frame, allowed, right? The duration of the trade. But as it is right now, they could close the trade because they can say it's too risky. It's too risky. All right, guys. It's midnight. I got to get some sleep, too, because I got to be up in the morning and look at where these earnings are going to be. Figure out where crude is going to be. I got some crude trades running. And some new ones I got to place on for next month as well, for March. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we talked about everything. But that's my show, man. That's my show. That's why people love my shit. Because you're going to come in here, you're going to talk about everything. You're not going to talk about, just tickers all fucking day. We love the tickers. We love the fucking tickers. But some of these guys are dry as fuck. And I don't have the same amount of people that they have in there. But, man, I don't give a fuck. My shit is way more interesting than some of these other guys. I don't give a fuck. I I don't put any money into my YouTube channel. That's why they buy ads for their YouTube channel, and I ain't putting my money in there. I'm a real for real entrepreneur. I'm entreprenegro. I put my money in where it maximizes my return, which is my trading account. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I've tried to watch Ricky Gutierrez. He makes me fall asleep. I've tried to watch this other guy here, I forgot his name, who owns a boat or whatever. He's talking a little too loud for me. Yes, stock and hard-ons. Yes, indeed. Stocks and blowing loads. Am I playing Beyond Meat? I was in Beyond Meat temporarily on that high because I put out a video. On it when it hit that. I sold some calls in Beyond Meat, but I'm waiting for Beyond Meat to settle down a little bit. I'm waiting for Beyond Meat to settle down a little bit. Let's go to that 4 hour I was talking about in Beyond Meat. I would love to see Beyond Meat get below this 60 RSI level again. All right. I'd love to see Beyond Meat get below the 60 RSI on this 4 hour. Let's go back to the hourly, because right now it's still a risky trade. All right. Here's the hourly. Can I delete that? Yes. Delete that, please. All right, so we can get a clear view of this thing. All right, so here's Beyond Meat. As you can see here, we had some rejections, which made it a really great shorting opportunity or to sell calls. And I put out a video, and I told you guys that Beyond Meat was one of the best shorting opportunities on the market right now. And a lot of guys who made a killing with that with me. But Beyond Meat, yeah, this has got, if it gets below the 60 RSI, I'm definitely kind of going back in there for a long-term shorting opportunity. Sell some calls here, but it's still really scary up here. It's scary up here. That shows me that there's still, looking at the price action from those last 3 days, these guys still want to buy this thing. Look at these candlesticks, man. They still want to buy this thing. There's still people who are hungry to see Beyond Meat squeeze somebody. So, it is what it is, man. All right. If I ever come down to Myrtle Beach, hit you up, I appreciate it, man. Shout out to all the people who always, man, they always tell me, hey, if I'm in their hood, for me to let them know, they'll take me out to eat or something. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the love, man. I go to airports and stuff when I'm traveling to see family and people recognize me. That's always crazy. That's always crazy because I'm just trying to make money. I'm just trying to, run my little business here, and sharing this with all of you is really, really, is really fun. It's really, really fun. It makes this even more enjoyable. So it's your boy Sal, man. Look out for some videos that I'll be putting out this week, reviewing some stocks, NVIDIA, Boeing. I'm going to put out another gold, silver video. You can always email me a particular stock you want to see me talk about, or hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up. Twitter is the best place to reach me because that's, I'm always on Twitter. So if you want a video on a particular stock, and we can just kind of break it down for the week, and I follow through. I'll also put out another video on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing its thing, and we'll talk about that. So a lot of things coming. I'll be placing out there some trade ideas that you can take advantage of. I've been making a killing on my trading ideas, and guys who've been following it too has been making some good money. We're gonna update on Netflix. I'm waiting for what Netflix is going to do, and I'll make a video about that, what to do after that number gets posted. All right, so stay tuned for all of that, guys. Stay tuned for all of that. All right. So shout out to everybody who was in the chat room today. God damn, I went for 3 hours. Shit. God damn. Damn, man. Shit. I really go for 3 hours? appreciate you. Eban R, Desert Edge. Donzel Essex, appreciate you, bro. Yes, indeed. Sag Nasty, man. Shout out to Sag Nasty, man. They should have never closed, gosh, man. What's that school in Saginaw motherfuckers jumping out the gym, man? Bro, oh, man. What's the name of that high school, Donzel? What's the name of the high school that closed up, man? Where all the basketball champions go to, man? I think, I forgot. Is my college still open? Man, guys, if you know anything about basketball, man, if you know anything about basketball, there was a school in Saginaw High. Okay, Saginaw High still open? Well, them boys can ball in Saginaw, man. I used to think I wanted to play basketball. Them boys in Saginaw, bruh, they came. I was going to school in Mount Pleasant. Donzel knows where that is. Them niggas washed our ass, bro. I was the only black boy on the team, so I was always getting a rock. You know what I mean? I was always getting the ball, putting up 30, 10, and 5 or some shit like that. They came to Mount Pleasant and washed us. Washed us. Couldn't guard these motherfuckers at all. The guys who go and play basketball there, a lot of times they can't make the grade to go straight to D1, so they go to Mott Community College. Mott Community College between 2000 and 2010, man, they had some players who could jump out the fucking gym, man. Them boys can hoop. Anyway, SE Trucker, appreciate you. Dre Raphael, appreciate you. Joe Silva, Dawson, appreciate you, bro, man. Thank you. Who else was in here? Light, appreciate you. Money Green, appreciate you, man. Kenny Dutton. Money Green says Tesla has too much IV for spreads. Weekly spreads, bro. At the end of the day, if you do, look, IV is IV. I get you. But at the end of the day, that time, that theta will eat away at that IV, bro. That theta will eat away at that IV. All right. What else? Kenny Dutton was here. I think I said his name. Anybody who was in here, man, I appreciate all of y'all. Kenny, Kareem, Coach, appreciate you. All you guys. Take care until next time. Trade well.